Last time on the Skip and Josh podcast.
These are actual stories. Like, this actually happened.
I stay in a lot of different hotels, and I could tell you there's some hotels beds are better than others, right? But I find it hard to believe that a major league team like the Chicago Cubs is staying in like the Days Inn or you know what I mean?
I know.
Like, they stay at nice hotels. Like, Rizzo can believe whatever he wants. Maybe the bed did cause his back stiffness, but I find it a little bit far-fetched. No?
The Skip and Josh podcast is on now.
Hello.
Skippy.
Hey, how are you?
Great, how are you?
My phone, I don't know. It was doing some crazy ringtone. It was wild.
You never know what you're going to get.
I never know. It's so true. Never know. How you been since we last spoke?
I've been good.
I felt like I almost ruined the show this week.
Because you called me.
Yeah, I called you like on a Thursday or whatever.
Like, what were you doing calling me?
I don't know. I had something to say. And then, of course, we started talking about like a whole bunch of stuff. And then you were like, wait a minute. We need to shut this down because
I don't even remember what we talked about.
I was trying to remember also, and I don't even know. But I just remember you saying we have to stop this conversation because all this needs to be when we talk on the weekend.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
now I know. Like, really, actually, you should block me.
You're
you should
right.
block my calls.
Can I call the government and say, have this number blocked?
No. On your iPhone, you can block my number.
No, I know, but you know those robocalls that you get? I've been getting a lot of those lately.
Me too, yeah.
First of all, there's the one where thank you for choosing Marriott, which I never chose Marriott.
Well, that I get all the time.
There's another one where I keep winning a cruise.
Oh, yeah, the cruise. I want 1 million cruises.
But the best one is, this is the Canada Revenue Agency calling.
I got that one.
If you don't return this call in the next 24 hours, we will have you arrested.
But it's so funny because they're trying to like represent the Canada Revenue Agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like the recording is so obviously translated like directly from another language. Like, it's using language that a person from that a recording, if it was a recording from Canada Revenue Agency, would never use these type of words. Like, they would never use "we'll have you arrested and put in jail." Like the way they say it, it's like the sentences are so like obviously translated, probably from Chinese or from whatever, I don't know what, but another language, and it's language that it just like as soon as you hear it, you're like, well, this is like, I mean, you know it's fake already, but like,
but you know, elderly people fall for this thing 100%, all the time.
100% they do.
I'm worried that my parents are going to fall for it.
I mean, they wouldn't do these calls if people didn't fall for it, right? And do you get this one? I get this one on my cell phone all the time. A number comes in from like random countries. It says like Seychelles, Guatemala, Latvia. It like all random numbers, and then you can't even answer. I'd like to try to answer, but I can't even answer. It just right away either they hung up, or you get like this British woman saying, "Don't hang up. The director of finance will speak to you in a few moments."
Oh, you should stay on hold until
Did you ever get those?
The director comes on.
Oh,
no,
man.
I never got those.
No, it just goes to my voicemail, and then when I listen to my voicemail, I have 6 of those messages with the weird music and the British lady, like all in a row. It's infuriating.
Maybe they know you're an English soccer supporter.
Maybe. These are the times we're living in. Robocalls.
Terrible.
So, you have any? I have a huge list today. Biggest list I've ever made.
I have a list. It's my list is the same length roughly as it is every week. It's
okay.
It's not extra long. It's not extra short.
Do you want to start with sports stuff, or I had a couple of like show related things that I wanted to bring up. Maybe we'll save them for the end. I don't know.
Whatever order you want to go in.
March Madness Bracket Challenge.
There was some big controversy in the Bracket Challenge prize awarding.
There was a little bit of controversy because there was a tie for first place, and neither of the contestants selected the exact final score.
Yeah, but one contestant did win the tiebreaker.
Well, how do you know that?
Because when you go on the website of CBS Sports, it has one person in first and another person in second.
Well, hold on. We had this conversation.
I know we did.
That's only because you can't put two people on the first line. So the
I
computer just decides randomly who goes higher than the
No,
other.
the computer didn't decide randomly. The computer decided who won the tiebreaker.
Well, how did it decide?
Because the person who won was closer to the final score.
Are you sure about that? It doesn't say
Yes.
closer. It just says you have to pick the final score. It
Well,
doesn't
one
say the
person-
one closest to it will win.
But well, what do you think? They pick a number for a random number, the tiebreaker?
To see if you get it exactly right.
Okay, so this is what happened. You sent me a picture of the winner holding up the prize.
Yes,
and everybody
I ordered
can
the
go to our
prize.
website right now, skipandjosh.com, go to links we like, and you'll see the picture. Now, I assumed that it was a picture of Darren Berger because I've never met these two guys. I don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume it's Darren Berger. I actually write up a whole thing on the website saying congratulations to Darren Berger, and it's published there. Then 2 minutes later, I said, you know what? I better check because what if it's not Darren Berger? Because I don't know him. And then I text you and you're like, that's Daniel Berg. I'm like, oh. So quickly went back on the website, renamed it, wrote some different stuff. And then I realized that like you just ignored what CBS Sports, the website that declared the winner, and you just decided like on your own that he was the winner.
Well, there's two reasons that I gave Dan Berg the first prize.
Mm-hmm.
One is he had more correct picks than Dan.
I know he had more
than
correct picks
Darren.
than Dan. Yes, this is true.
Dan had more correct picks than Darren.
But in the rules, it never says that the tiebreaker is going to be more correct picks.
Secondly, I said to both of them in separate text messages that whoever I see next gets the first prize.
Okay.
And I saw Dan first, and I still haven't seen Darren. When I see Darren, I'll give him the second place prize.
Well, Darren, I hope you're not disappointed. With the
Darren
second
wasn't
place
happy,
prize.
I have to say. But
He wasn't.
meanwhile, Dan was very happy to relinquish first place and give his first place prize to Darren because actually Dan won two other pools, making the same exact picks, where he actually won cold hard cash.
Oh, so he didn't really care about our
He
prize from the prize
he can
closet.
go buy several of those prizes with the money
Several.
that
he could probably buy 100 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe not 100 of them, but he could buy a lot of them.
Yeah, all right.
Actually, he probably could buy 100 of them. So anyway, so that's why I gave the prize to Dan.
All right. Anyways, I thought that was like an amusing thing, and
Well, it
You
is
know, something that happened
It was
this
and continues to be very controversial.
Mailbag.
now the other thing we had was some listener feedback. It wasn't mail, but it was in the form of text, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
about your restaurant story.
Yes, well, Carly
That story's going viral right now.
Carly liked the story, and Joe liked the story.
Yeah.
Carly was actually there and experienced
Yeah.
the story firsthand.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out that like that story was recorded by accident. We didn't intend for it to be in the episode. It was just a conversation we had, you know, after we finished. And then as you were telling me the story, you said halfway through, you said, oh, we need to actually put this in the episode. So that's what we did. But there was a lot of stuff left out of the story. Names were removed to protect the innocent or not innocent, the guilty, I guess. And we didn't want to embarrass any member of Carly's family.
I think it's the first time you had to bleep me since we started doing the show.
Oh my God, it's so true. Well, no, there's been a couple of. It's not the first time that I used the bleeping to maintain our non-explicit rating, but I think I was the one that was swearing the other times. Is it the first time you ever swore?
I
on
think
the
it's
show?
the first time you had to bleep me because I didn't think you were going to use it in the show, so I didn't care.
When I listened to it back, I was like, oh man, Josh swore. It was intense. Anyways, I'm happy that the story got. I thought the story was great, and I'm happy that it got like so much attention, you know, and feedback from especially Carly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Carly and Joe on the weekend because they're having a party to reveal the gender of their baby on Saturday.
Oh my God, how are they doing it?
I don't know how they're doing it. I'm going to find out on Saturday.
You know my friend Phil, right?
Yes.
He lives in France. So he's married to a lovely, well, they're not married, I guess. They're to a lovely Brazilian girl, Gabriela, and they do have a baby now, but they had a gender reveal party, and they streamed it. It was online.
I'm sure Joe's going to stream it, knowing him.
Because all her family's in Brazil and all his family's in Canada, so they actually they got an envelope from the doctor that said the sex of the baby, and they handed it to one of Gabby's friends, and she baked a cake that was either pink or blue in the inside. So when they cut the cake, you got a pink cake or a blue cake, and then you found out the sex of the baby. So I want to know what Joe and Carly are going to do, because that should be interesting.
It should be. Now, by the way, I have a question. Since we don't know the gender yet, are we supposed to give a gift at an event like this?
That's a good question. I've never been to an event like that, so
Neither
I couldn't
have I.
tell you for sure. I don't know. It's not really a baby shower, right?
Not really.
So I would say no, but you are going to their house, and they are probably going to have out a bunch of food and stuff, right? It's not like they're just inviting you over for like a glass of water. So I think maybe you do have to bring something.
Well, what happens if I
what.
bring something pink and it's a boy?
Well, we're in the year 2018, Josh. They're supposed to be gender neutral. Pink could be for boys and blue could be for girls.
Okay. So then I'll bring whatever I want.
The listeners should email us, skipandjoshshow@gmail.com, or send us a tweet at skipandjosh. We want to know, do you give a gift at a baby gender reveal party?
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Let's head to the sports.
Is this a sports show?
It is.
By the way,
Usually.
Speaking of that, so really, I think I can speak for you too when I say this. We should have done this show 20 years ago. I don't even know if there were podcasts 20 years ago.
There weren't.
But we should have done this show 20 years ago, because I know much, much less about sports now than I did 20 years ago.
I know much less about sports than I did like 2 years ago.
So, and I'll give you an example. First of all, I can't even name you every head coach in the NHL playoffs. That's one thing I cannot do, which I used to be able to do. I used to be able to name you all 30 head coaches.
Every head coach, I could name you 25-man rosters of every Major League Baseball team.
I know. I'm just talking about now. I cannot name you every head coach in the playoffs now. Also, we did this hockey pool at my office where you just have to pick 15 players. There's no draft. You pick any 15 players you want.
But you need to pick players strategically, like that are going to go far, right?
Or not. It's up to you.
No, but you want to pick players that you think are going to advance, right? Is that it?
Of course, because you don't get to repick.
I like those pools.
But I mean, the thing is, like, if I took Crosby, everyone else might have taken him too. So...
Oh, it's not a draft like that. It's like
not
a squares pool where you can pick the same guys. Okay.
Yeah, so in other words, of my 15 players, 5 of them, everyone might have those 5.
Got it, yeah.
Right? Like, I'm sure everyone picked Sidney Crosby. I'm sure everyone picked Nikita Kucherov.
Did you have Gensel?
I wish I took him. Unfortunately, I didn't.
He scored 4 goals today.
I know. I'm kicking myself.
Yeah.
But one of the players I picked, because I took 6 Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they're going to go far, obviously.
Was Kucherov.
Of course, I picked Kucherov, but when you're picking 6, you got to go, you got to start scraping the barrel, right? Because they're not all going to be superstars. So I picked this player, Yanni Gourde, on Tampa.
Yanni Gourde. He's from like Trois-Rivières area.
I never heard of him till about a week and a half ago. I never even heard his name. Never mind him.
Remember I told you I went to a game in February with Matthew at the Canadiens game?
Yeah, you didn't mention his name though in that conversation.
No. Well, Yanni Gourde, his name doesn't come up like just off the top of my head.
I never even heard his name till like 10 days ago.
Those tickets that
ago.
I get from someone I know, and it's the 3rd time that me and Matthew have sat in those seats. And there's always friends and family of the visiting team in that section. Every time we go, there's always, you can tell they're wearing the road team's jersey. You could see who the players' wives are, because players' wives are always hot, right? There was 2 guys sitting 1 row above and a few seats over, both with Tampa Bay Lightning Yanni Gourde jerseys.
I had never heard of him till 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so you took him.
I took him because he had great stats in the regular season.
Did he do anything so far in the playoffs?
He's doing
well. The series was short.
He's doing a bit.
It's good to take players from a good team, but sometimes when the series is short, it's like it works against you.
The National Hockey League.
So, let's segue right into the Stanley Cup playoffs. Are you watching any of the series? Are you which series are you watching? Not watching? Most of them are over actually. The first round.
I've watched more hockey playoffs, or is it playoff hockey, this year than I did last year. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've actually watched quite a bit.
And
Yeah.
I just watch whatever game is on. So I'll turn
Yeah,
on
me too.
the TV, and whatever game's on, I'll watch. Now, I didn't watch any of the late games because that's way too late for me.
They're way too late.
I maybe can watch the first period and that's it.
Yeah.
But first of all, let's congratulate you because you had Vegas winning in 4 straight, and they did.
In the category of I had that.
Yes. I had them winning also. I just didn't pick a number of games.
Actually, I'm very close to going like 8 for 8
I
on
know
all the series.
So you had San Jose winning, you
Yeah.
had Winnipeg winning, you had Tampa winning, and you had Pittsburgh winning. So far you're perfect.
And Nashville's winning. They're playing right now as we speak. It was 2-0 the last time I checked.
Me too.
So if things hold, it's 4-0 now for Nashville. So they're about to finish off Colorado. The only series that are going to be in doubt are going to be those 2 in the East, which are really hotly contested. The Capitals, which is they've made a tremendous comeback, down 2-0 and now to be up 3-2. Although like every game's in overtime pretty much, so it still can go either way. I wouldn't count Columbus out yet.
No, that's going to go 7. And it's going to go to overtime.
And then the Leafs Bruins, which is, I don't know, in Toronto it must be so interesting because you have like are a lot of fans like injured from jumping on and off the bandwagon and then on and back on and then on and back off. Like what's going on there?
I don't know what's going on with the bandwagon, but it's pretty crazy because I mean the Leafs are still alive, the Raptors are doing well,
Yeah,
Jays are doing well. It's not
the Jays are actually doing really well.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah,
I don't want to screw up your swooshes, so let's stick to one sport.
right.
So you could, like, you have Boston beating
Yeah.
Toronto, right? And you have Washington beating Columbus, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you end up being perfect, which currently you are,
Yeah.
I'll end up being 7-1 because
Yeah.
I didn't have San Jose.
You only had Anaheim. Yeah, Anaheim was the only difference.
Right. That's the only
Well,
series we
I
had
mean,
different.
I felt strongly. I felt confident about all the picks in the first round. It's the second round that's going to really get tricky because
We'll do our second round preview when it comes to that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, like I said, the Caps is probably going to go to Game 7 and probably going to go to overtime. I still think the Caps are going to win that series, and I still think
Yeah.
they're going to lose to Pittsburgh.
The Caps is the series that I've watched the most, actually. I think it's really... There's been some really interesting hockey because there's been a lot of goals scored. Like, it's really high scoring.
There's nothing more high scoring than Pittsburgh-Philadelphia.
Well, there was no goaltending in that series.
Well,
You know, unfortunately,
you know
for the Flyers,
Philadelphia, they haven't had a good goalie since Pelle Lindbergh.
Well, I really thought about it this week.
We talked about this on our NHL preview show
Yeah.
in October.
It's been 30 years since they've had a good goalie. Ron Hextall was their last good goalie. They, look, they did make it to the finals with Ron Hextall as their goalie. So you can't say he wasn't good.
Okay.
He wasn't good for a long time, and he was hot and cold and up and down, but he was a good goalie. But that's it, like that's it.
Mhm.
Like since 1987, 88, like they haven't had anyone. And, when you're going into the playoffs with Brian Elliott and who's the other guy, Neuwirth?
Mhm.
Like,
Actually, I
what's
think he did a bit better in one of the games.
He did, but what's going to happen. Like, it's not good enough. It's just not good enough.
I think we talked about this not in our previous show. We talked about this after the free agent frenzy when all those goalies changed teams in the summer.
Yeah. And they still didn't get anyone.
And we said, like, the Flyers still don't have a good goalie.
The Flyers, though, to their credit, and Mark's gonna love this because I'm gonna talk like glowingly about the Flyers. This is like gravy this season. Like they have a very, very young team, and the fact that they made the playoffs is a bonus. And they have a goalie in their system, Connor Hart, who you probably know because he was the goalie for Team Canada at the last World Junior.
Wasn't it Carter Hart?
Sorry about that, Carter Hart. And he, by all indication, is going to be great, right? Like he has a pedigree in junior, very high draft choice. So I think the Flyers are hoping he's going to be their guy, for the next however many years, or at least come up at the same time as all their other young players and kind of peak hopefully all at the same time. But we'll see. We'll see next year and the year after. What do you think about the Bruins Leafs? Do the Leafs actually have a chance, or the Bruins are going to eventually finish them off?
The Leafs definitely have a chance because they certainly played great yesterday, well, except for maybe the third period. as I was watching that, I was thinking about what happened 5 years ago when the Leafs blew that 3-goal lead to Boston. But they certainly have a chance, except that I just think Boston's going to prevail. I mean, it might not happen tomorrow, but Boston's going to win the series.
But if it gets to Game 7, anything could happen.
Anything can happen. Yes, that's true. I mean, Patrice Bergeron's back now. So,
he's back, but is he 100%? I don't know.
No one's 100%. They said Sean Couturier of the Flyers was playing with a torn MCL.
He scored a goal today.
He did, and it was a nice goal. But he was playing. I don't know if it was a torn MCL or something or other. But
sprain.
So no one's 100%.
Yeah. So I mean, the Cap series, the one that I watched the most. I watched quite a bit of the Bruins Leafs, and I watched a good amount of the Penguins Flyers, and the West. I mean, I don't like Nashville. I was watching a little bit today, but
The National Basketball Association.
It's funny because now I'm going to segue out of hockey into basketball, if you don't mind.
Maybe I do mind.
Oh.
Hold on, let me see if I have more hockey points to talk about.
Well, I mean, it's okay, but like we both kind of agreed that the NHL playoffs usually are great in round one, and sometimes they tail off.
Yes.
I find things are going a little bit the opposite. I think it's looking like the NHL playoffs could really start to really get good as the good teams like continue to advance. And the NBA playoffs first round has been surprisingly quite compelling, actually.
I was arguing with someone about this today.
Yeah.
How the NHL playoffs, the first round is the best round, and in the NBA playoffs, it doesn't even matter until round 3.
The thing with the NBA playoffs this year, what's making it interesting is that LeBron James is on the brink, right? They're looking bad. So everybody's kind of rooting, including me, for them to lose, which is kind of cool. The Sixers are a great story. They're fun to watch. Ben Simmons and Embiid, right?
But that's not an upset because they are the higher seed.
No. It's not an upset, but I find that the games have been really good against Miami, and they're fun to watch, right? So I am enjoying... Look, I haven't watched much of the West, but just the Cleveland series, the Raptors I have watched a little bit, and the Sixers I just find and I'm a Celtics fan, so I am kind of like really into like what's going on in the Eastern Conference. I find usually these series kind of go to form, but they've been really interesting to watch so far.
So on our last episode, I asked you, because we don't really talk about the NBA much because I don't know a lot about it, and I asked you, in the playoffs, do they re-rank?
They don't.
And according to NBA.com, they do not.
Yeah, I agree. But I remember the reason why I said I didn't know last time was obviously because I didn't know. But I'm sure at one point the NBA did re-rank.
I think you're right. I think they did at one point.
But
the NHL also did at one point.
Yeah.
But they don't anymore.
But the NBA, I should have told you last week that they don't re-rank because you know how it works in the NBA. Sometimes round 2 starts... A series in round 2 will sometimes start, and they're still playing Game 7 in round 1 in another series.
Which I like, and the NHL should implement that.
Well, I mean,
now that the NHL doesn't re-rank, there's no reason not to implement it because San Jose and Vegas could have started already.
Yeah, that's true. San Jose and Vegas are just sitting around.
Yeah. By the way, whoever tweets for Vegas,
it's great.
They're funny. I don't know if you saw, I mean, I'm sure you've seen more than I have because I don't really go on Twitter. I only find out about this like days later. But they tweeted something because they were the first team to advance to round 2. And they tweeted, "It's really lonely here in round 2."
They're great.
So,
and another first for the Vegas Golden Knights. Here we go. Did you hear the great stats? First expansion franchise to win a playoff game, then to win a playoff series, and then to sweep a playoff series, and then,
Beards.
Here's my observation from the Leafs Bruins series.
Oh, okay, good.
So I only found out about this when Thomas Plekanec was traded to the Leafs, and they asked him to remove his facial hair.
Yeah.
So the Leafs apparently have the same rule that the Yankees have, which is no facial hair allowed. Yeah, and I think the Leafs only started doing this when Lou Lamoriello joined the organization. And
sounds right.
And it doesn't surprise me because when he was with New Jersey, he had, I don't know if he had the same rule about facial hair, but he did have another rule, sort of an unwritten rule, where players couldn't have stupid numbers like 67 or 58 or whatever. Like the highest number was 30 or 31, and that had to be the goalie, and all the other numbers had to be between 2 and 29.
I mean, that's okay on New Jersey because they had no numbers retired. But then you get on a team like Toronto.
Well, actually, Toronto doesn't have any jerseys
You're
retired
right.
at all.
You're right.
They just honor them in the rafters.
They're in the
But
Ring of
anyway,
Honor,
the
yeah.
point of my whole story was that, so the Leafs have this rule where you can't have facial hair. Yet, during the playoffs, they're all allowed to grow playoff beards.
That is so stupid. That's so true.
So go explain that one to me.
I saw an interview with Mitch Marner. They were asking him about his playoff beard, and he was like, well, because there's no way that guy can grow a beard.
No
It's
chance.
He's like a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So you have any more hockey? I think we're
No
finished
more
with
hockey.
And basketball, I said what I had to say. So
Uniforms.
I have one thing about basketball, and really this isn't just basketball, but I notice it more in basketball than anywhere else. And it happens in the NBA, and it happens in NCAA basketball. And Duke may have even been guilty of doing this as well. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to go back and look at some footage.
oh god,
But have you noticed that oftentimes the team, because now every team has like 7 different uniforms, right?
yeah.
This
yeah,
is the uniform segment of the show.
yeah. They do have a lot of uniforms.
So whatever
Did you see the Utah Jazz uniform? Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
They call it the creamsicle uniform.
Oh,
It's
I
like
did see that
orange.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you notice, a lot of teams, when they're wearing their white jerseys, they have white numbers also.
Well, that's so stupid. The Miami
White
Heat have
numbers
that.
on white jerseys. Like right now, if you turn on the television, the Wizards, they have white jerseys with white numbers. Now, yes, there's an outline around the number, so you can obviously tell that it's a number. But it's
It's
like
no good.
so, I don't like this style. I don't like the design. Whoever decided this, whoever agreed to it, should be fired.
It's really bad, actually, because the whole point is to see the numbers.
Right,
Otherwise,
and you
might as
can't.
well not have numbers.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Anyway, so I think...
And you did bring up Duke. There was one year where Duke had some wacky uniforms where they might have done something like that.
I think it was this year.
No, I don't know.
Anyway.
But I do remember you talking to me about it once, so I'm not sure.
So I just had to get a uniform segment into the show.
I love it.
Yeah.
Uniforms are always a good thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball.
Can we switch to baseball?
We can, absolutely.
I want to congratulate, what's his name?
Sean Manaea on throwing a no-hitter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean,
the first no-hitter of the year?
no-hitters are not as uncommon as they used to be back in the day. I find that like there's a few of them every season now.
There's usually 1 or 2 every year, it seems.
More. Sometimes there's 1 or 2 a week.
And did you see like some of the plays from that game? Like, I don't know if it should have been a no-hitter.
I heard that there were some controversial calls. I didn't see any of the highlights.
There was a play where Benintendi ran down the baseline and beat it out, and then they called him out for like breaking the baseline.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting
So-
because that same play happened against the Jays about a week or 2 ago, where Russell Martin had to scoop up a ball near home plate, and he hit the runner in the back because he was within the 45-foot line.
Right.
So,
So, I mean, that would have been a hit by Benintendi. They called him out.
mhm.
And there was another play where the shortstop from Oakland ran out into like no man's land and looked like he was going to maybe make a nice catch like in short center, like over his head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of dropped it. Like,
And they called it an error?
they called it an error. It's questionable because it was kind of like, but I guess, you know, me and you always used to say, like, if it's in your glove, isn't it an error? Like,
Yes.
but it was such a tough play, you know, like
I didn't see it.
he
I'll-
ran like
I'll have to go back and try and
he was
find it.
like he was in short center, so it was tough. But anyways, congratulations to Sean Manaea for the no-hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a no-hitter in person?
I don't think so. No, have you?
One, yeah. I thought maybe you were at you didn't see Tommy Green's no-hitter against the Expos?
I don't think I was at that game.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I don't think
I was thinking
there.
that when I knew I was going to ask you this question, I was thinking, oh, that's the one you're going to tell me. No, I did see one no-hitter.
Your buddy was at the Dennis Martinez no-hitter in LA.
Who's my buddy?
Jonah Carey.
Oh yeah, he was there. Yeah, he's my buddy. I did see in 1991. I saw Wilson Alvarez throw a no-hitter for the White Sox against the Orioles in
Oh,
Baltimore.
I remember that. I remember you telling me that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Baltimore's lineup was basically Cal Ripken and a bunch of AAA players, so probably the easiest no-hitter ever thrown, but yeah, it was still a no-hitter.
There you go. And speaking of no-hitters, a week ago today, Bartolo was flirting with a perfect game through 7 innings.
Oh my God. You texted me. Okay, first of all, Bartolo is amazing because I totally forgot about this.
Because it's a week ago. It's old news.
You know, it's 2 years in a row now that Bartolo is like blowing up the internet because when he hit a homer, was it last year or the year before?
I think it was the year before.
Whenever it was, when he hit that home run, Twitter exploded. It's like he could have crashed Twitter. And now he's almost throwing a perfect game and everyone's freaking out.
Well, I mean, his
Good for
fastball is only like 85 miles an hour, so I'm not sure how he had a perfect game going through 7 or 8 innings.
Yeah, well. And then, you know, the no-hitter, perfect game, and shutout all basically got broken in,
right.
you know, rapid succession there.
But I think Texas still won the game.
They did, I think, yes, yeah.
He does pitch for Texas, doesn't he?
In Texas, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, he does pitch for Texas. I didn't even know he was in the league.
The home run that he hit would have been the only way for him to get a hit because any ball in play, he would have been thrown out at first base.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's so slow, so he had to hit it out of the park.
Yeah,
that's the only way to get a hit for him.
He had to. So you mentioned the Jays' hot start.
Oh, I was going to say, I said on our MLB preview show that the Jays were going to have a terrible season. I said that.
Well, look, they're off to a good start.
They're off to a great start.
The Red Sox are like historic right now. They're going crazy.
The Jays are playing 6-19 ball. And this is after losing 3 of 4 to the Yankees this past weekend.
I know, and they're still 4 games behind the Red Sox.
I know. Well, I mean, okay, fine, but you know, you play 6-19 ball, you're going to make the playoffs.
No. I mean, look. Yeah,
they would be one of the wild card teams if the playoffs started today.
They would, yeah.
Now, while I was wrong about the Jays, and I mean it's very early, there's still time for things to happen.
Well, of course, yeah.
All the other picks that I made, I think were good. Like I said, Boston would win the East; they're leading. I said Cleveland would win the Central; they're leading. I said
Houston, only 20 games in there, buddy.
I know. I said excited. Houston would win. I said Houston would win the West; they're leading. And as my 2 wild cards, I had the Yankees and Minnesota.
Yeah.
So neither of those are right, but whatever. It's just interesting.
Well, the Yankees are going to be right there. I mean, if Giancarlo Stanton would figure out how to make contact, I guess the Yankees would be a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It's unbelievable how much he's striking out, and the Yankees' vaunted bullpen is looked really vulnerable. They've given up They've had all kinds of trouble. But if the Red Sox keep going like this, you know, it's going to be a long season for everybody else in the East to try to even attempt to catch them.
But for the most part, it's going according to script in the American League for the most part.
Yeah. Now
in the National League, everything's upside down.
Well, the Nationals are complete, you know, a hot mess right now.
Yeah.
Dumpster fire, as the kids say. The Mets kind of, I just blew off the Mets in our baseball preview.
Well, I did say if their pitching comes through, they'll be good. And Matt Harvey's been brutal. He's now been relegated to the bullpen, and yet somehow the Mets are playing 700 ball.
Yeah. But there's still time. That's why they play 162 games. The Major League Baseball season's a marathon. It's not a sprint. But like when you see the Red Sox with a 17-4 record, I mean, it's pretty insane, right?
Even the Philadelphia Phillies are playing 667 baseball right now.
But whenever you see a team getting off to like a crazy hot start, I always remember the 1984 Tigers.
Yeah.
So think about this. Everyone's freaking out about the Red Sox. They're 17-4, right? Mm-hmm. Do you understand the 84 Tigers were 35-5?
I remember that.
35 out of 40 games they won. That's nuts.
Was that the same year that the Padres got off to a great start as well?
Padres were in the World Series that year, yes.
So, and the Padres basically won their division in April or May 1st.
I think so, yeah.
So both Detroit and San Diego got off to crazy hot starts.
But no one gave, a member of the 84 World Series, no one gave San Diego even a shot to even come close, you know?
I don't remember who won that World Series.
No, the Tigers won.
Okay.
What else? Any more baseball talk? You have anything else on your list? My list is done.
Your list is done? I thought you had a crazy
I have
long
what
list.
bugs me.
Okay, so my list is not done.
Okay, good.
The National Football League.
First, we'll talk about the NFL briefly.
NFL. Holy smokes.
So the schedule came out this week.
Oh, yeah. And the draft is this week.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the draft. But it's funny when the schedule comes out because everyone makes a huge deal over it. And really all it is a calendar.
Yeah. That's so good.
Because
That's so clever.
Because like everyone knows who they're playing. Now they just know the dates that they're playing.
Oh, 100%. All the teams have known exactly who their 15 opponents are.
Right.
But now you just know the order.
Right. But that's not even what I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you heard that I guess the NFL caught wind of the fact that people were a little annoyed that they had to stay up so late on Monday night and Sunday night and Thursday night to watch all those games.
Oh.
So the NFL, because they're like such a giving organization, have decided to move their Monday night, Sunday night, and Thursday night games earlier.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
Okay, so let me tell you. So now Monday Night Football was 8:30 last year.
Sunday night also, yeah.
Well, let's do one at a time.
Okay.
Monday night is moving from 8:30 to 8:15.
Oh, they're so good. 15 minutes, it's going to make a huge difference.
Hold on. Sunday night is moving from 8:30 to 8:20.
Oh, Jesus.
And Thursday night is moving from 8:25 also to 8:20. So
5 minutes.
Therefore, in a whole week, the NFL is giving you 30 minutes extra to sleep now in an entire week. 30 minutes a week extra that you didn't have before.
Thank you so much, NFL. And by the way, they're not they're with those kind of movements of the schedule, that's not for the fans. That's to accommodate the networks so they don't have to preempt the shows that they want to put on after football.
Right, whatever it is.
That's 100% what it has to be. It's a 5 minutes, 15 minutes. That's ridiculous. NFL, so stupid. That should be what bugs me right now. I just heard it and it's bugging me.
Anyway, just thought it was funny.
That is funny.
Recommendations.
So I discovered, you asked me about this a few months ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered some new podcasts.
Oh, well, you told me all about your fantasy baseball podcast
No, but
last time.
But these are completely different.
Okay, I can't wait to hear them. Let's hear them.
Okay. So
I'm excited.
I haven't listened to all of them yet because I just discovered them like literally days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them, this one has the weirdest title for a podcast. And you would think with a title like this that no one would want to bother listening to it. The title of the podcast is The World's Fastest Growing Sports Media Podcast with @Sports TV Ratings.
That's a stupid title.
It is. But that's the title of the show. And they
how did you even find this?
I don't even know. I mean, how did I find it? I was looking for a different podcast, and then it says to you, you might also like these.
Right.
And I looked at this one, and they've done 54 episodes. Mm-hmm. So it's not like they're just, new.
Mm-hmm.
And the first episode was May 31st, 2017. So
we're about a year, like
right.
us. Like they're doing around the same amount of episodes as we are.
Right. And then whatever. So they've done 54 episodes.
Is it any good?
Well, I only listened to one episode so far.
Yeah.
And I was going to actually share it with you. I listened to one that I think you'll like because he has a different guest on every week.
Mm-hmm.
Or every episode. I don't know if it's every week. And the guest was Jay Onrait.
Oh.
Was the guest.
It's a Canadian show.
It's not a Canadian show.
Oh.
It's not.
Okay.
Yes. It's an American show.
Send me I want to listen to that.
Send you a box of that? Okay, I will.
Or send me a box of that. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I think you've heard of. The other one is called Origins.
No, I don't know this.
You don't know this? Okay. So some people call him James Miller. Some people call him Jim Miller.
Yeah.
He's an award-winning journalist and best-selling author of books on Saturday Night Live, ESPN, and CAA.
Yeah, I heard this guy. Yeah, I heard this guy, yeah.
So anyway, so he has his own podcast called Origins.
Right.
So he's actually, they're on season 2 right now. In fact, I think season 2 is done.
Oh, it's like it's a show like that with seasons. Okay.
Right. Well, I mean, seasons. They just break it up into seasons only because one season is a certain topic and then the next season is a different topic. But
so what's the topics?
Well, season 1, the topic was Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, okay.
So they did 5 episodes on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Uh-huh.
And because the show is called Origins, you might guess, they talk
So a lot
about
of
how the
Seinfeld.
show originated, how people thought, oh, this is never going to fly. No one's going to watch this, whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't
yeah.
listened to any of the episodes yet.
And what's season 2 about?
Season 2 is all about ESPN.
Oh, that's great.
So there's an episode on 30 for 30. There's an
Uh-huh.
episode on PTI. There's an
gonna
episode
listen to
on
this.
College Game Day.
And it's called Origins?
It's called Origins.
I'm gonna subscribe to it right now.
So, again, I haven't listened to any episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also, in addition to the real episodes, there's also like sort of not behind the scenes, but like additional content, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not part of the actual show, but it's all there for you to listen to if you want.
Okay, great.
So anyway, they're going to do a season 3. I don't even know what the topic is going to be for season 3.
I can't wait. This sounds really interesting, actually.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's great.
And then finally, the third podcast that I just found out about, like literally minutes before we went on air today.
Yeah.
I saw an ad for this on television, and I haven't listened to it, and I haven't downloaded it, and I don't know anything about it. It's a baseball podcast. It's called A Swing and a Belt, and it's hosted by Dan Schulman.
Oh, that could be good.
So who knows?
A Swing and a Belt. It's kind of also a weird title.
Well, you belt a home run.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So.
Okay, well, he's good, Dan Schulman, Toronto guy.
Yeah.
Big in the United States. That's cool.
So that's my podcast segment for today.
Well, I mean, I haven't subscribed to new podcasts in so long, so I'm not going to recommend any, but maybe next time. I'll give definitely Origins. I just subscribed to Origins, but I'm going to subscribe to that and listen to the ESPN stuff for sure. And by the way, they talk the Curb Your Enthusiasm. Have you seen any of the new Curb Your Enthusiasms?
No.
Okay, so on one of my flights that I had this year, they had quite a few of them on the plane, like the new season. They're so funny.
I still haven't seen all the old ones yet.
They're so good. I was just like,
I want to try and watch them all in order.
Oh, but it's a lot of TV to watch.
I
there.
know. Well, listen,
Yeah.
I'm going through all of Entourage now.
Speaking of TV, I have something that what bugs me.
Okay.
You're kidding me? Boy, are you bugging me, man? I'm gonna nail. Ooh, God. I'm getting bugged now. Whoa, man.
So, I know I mentioned to you that I got a new TV.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, so my old TV was like on the fritz, and it's like 10 years old. So we were already considering buying a new one. So when the other one died, we said, okay, this weekend we'll go shopping for a TV. Now I hate going shopping for that kind of stuff. Well, like, there's nowhere to buy TVs anymore in Canada. Like, where do you go buying a TV? Where do you go buy a TV?
I guess Best Buy
That's your only hope, right?
Or the Brick or
Exactly.
the Bay.
Okay, the brick, and like Bro and Martineau and these type of stores, I can't even step foot in them. I can't stand them.
Mm-hmm.
And Best Buy, whatever. So I thought I had a brilliant idea, right? We went to Best Buy, we looked at all the TVs, and we saw the one we liked. And then I said, you know what? Then we wanted to go to another store to compare. So we went to the Brick and we saw, like, let's just see what they have. And then I said, you know what? I have a good idea. We're just going to go home. So we went home and I went on the Best Buy website and I ordered the TV on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be delivered, to be picked up in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you within 20 minutes you can go pick it up, which is true because they sent me an email in 20 minutes saying your TV's ready to pick up. Come to the store.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I had such a brilliant idea because I can't stand all the upselling, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to sell you on the 4-year service plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then who knows what other stuff they want to upsell you on, right? Like I wanted to avoid the whole customer salesperson
interaction.
I wanted to just eliminate it. So I went on the website, I clicked on the thing, order it, and that's it. Now the thing is, I knew I was in a bit of trouble because you don't pay for it online. You have to pay for it in the store.
Mm.
So I already know there could be some hanky-panky going on there with the salespeople, but I figure I'm just going to be at the customer service desk. I'm just going to give them my credit card, pay, and then leave, and that's it. So I get there, and they say, okay, yeah, your TV, he goes in the back, and he looks, and he goes, oh, yeah, your TV, you have to pick it up over at the home theater section.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. So I go over to the TV section, and I say, yeah, I ordered a TV online, and they're like, oh, yeah, they told us their guy's bringing it out now. So while the guy's bringing it out, the girl's telling me, here it comes, right? Do you want the service plan? No. Then she starts telling me that I need new HDMI cables because a 4K TV needs new HDMI cables.
That's the biggest
apparently.
scam ever.
So I already know that's a scam because I looked it up.
Remember when HDMI first came out, 10, 20 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't 20 years ago, but it was maybe
Whatever,
more than
yeah.
10. And there was HDMI cables that cost $4, and then there were HDMI cables that cost $40.
They're the same.
And they were exactly the same.
Yeah. So I said, no, I don't need the HDMI cables. And then she goes, oh, come over here. I want to show you something. So she shows me this display they have where the color of the TV is perfectly calibrated compared to a regular TV that's not perfectly calibrated.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you for the low price, because I bought this TV, instead of $300, I can get the calibration service for $150. They come to your house and they set it all up for you. Not like setting up the TV, but they come with this like color, this machine that scans the colors and makes sure all the colors are perfect. So I'm like, no, I don't want that. And she's like, oh, you can always come back in 30 days. So like all the stuff that I tried to avoid, all the upselling, I should have been in and out of there in 2 minutes. I was in there for like half an hour, just saying, no, I don't need anything.
Well, what if you had it delivered, though? Then you wouldn't have to deal with that.
Next time, I will have it delivered because that is the thing. But the thing is, I wanted the TV in my hands like on the weekend because this is when I had time to like set it up and everything, right? So I didn't want to wait for, I don't know how long the delivery would take. But yes, next time I will have it delivered because I will do everything in my power to avoid the interaction with the salesperson.
Good luck when you go buy a new car.
Oh, well, that.
They're going to ask you if you want the rust proofing.
I want to buy a Tesla just so that I could have this just so that I could avoid that. Because, Tesla, you can go online and say, give me this car, whatever, put in the order.
But then you still have to go pick it up. They don't deliver.
You still have to go to like a dealer, although Tesla doesn't have dealers everywhere. You still have, there's no way you can avoid it, but I think it's less, Yeah, but still, Tesla. I'm not going to get Tesla, but... So that's all I got.
Okay. That's all I got.
That's all you got. I have a surprise for you.
Show clothes.
You do?
Yeah. I reworked the show clothes.
Ooh, this is exciting.
A little bit of new language.
Oh, this is very exciting. Hold on a second. I need to prepare myself. Okay,
no,
go.
It's not a big departure. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So before we sign off, I just want to remind everyone that to make sure you never miss an episode of the Skip and Josh podcast, to please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Google Play Music, or pretty much any podcast app of your choice. I often mention a love for an app called Overcast. If you listen via Apple Podcasts, please make sure to leave us a review. And we've been told that 5 stars is a good review. We would love to hear from you via email, skipandjoshshow@gmail.com, Twitter @skipandjosh, or by liking and following our Facebook page. And like always, go to skipandjosh.com and you can get all the links to everything I just said. Actually, if you go to skipandjosh.com, you can see the picture of the fabulous prize from our bracket challenge.
Mm-hmm. It was taken outside in the dark, so the...
I know, I saw.
It's low light.
Low light, yeah.
Yes.
All right. So next time, maybe we'll talk about round 2 of the NHL.
Yeah, we'll do our round 2 preview. We might have to do that this week in the middle of the week.
Yeah, we may have to just do a short little pop-up episode just to rate when round 2 is about to start.
I like that.
All right. Talk to you next time.
Okay. Have a great week.
Okay. You too.
The Skip and Josh podcast is over now. Don't worry, there'll be another episode soon.